Now that I'm back in the USA, it's time we get back into the swing of things and just check out this new set. Isn't it great? It's lovely. You know, I got a proper chair. But let's get right into the meat of things, shall we? Do you know what's fun? Shooting people. In video games, I've been playing shooters of all kinds for the past 15 years of my life. Halo, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, I guess Fortnite counts. I don't play that anymore though. But what's the biggest problem with shooter games? Is it their highly competitive nature that turns it from a casual game between friends into heated arguments and thrown controllers and keyboards?
Send me your fucking address. I will come to your house and I will fuck you up.
Is it the hidden addictive and even gambling elements where people end up paying more and more money just to have the latest skins or dances or knives? Are they causing our children to commit mass shootings? No. So, the real problem is that there aren't any damn furries in these games. It's all grunting human soldiers with big military-style weaponry. Barely any bright colors and cute animals, and at best you can play like an alien. I mean, Fortnite now has fursuits of some kind, but those aren't really furries. Now, I wish there was some kind of blood battle shooter game where you could play as a cute little animal. Surely none of that exists, I hear you say. Well, worry not, I have the solution. I introduce you to Super Animal Royale. Imagine if you combined Happy Tree Friends with PUBG. That's kind of the game, but it's a lot more than that. So how is this different from other shooting games? Is there any sort of hidden lore like there is with Fortnite and whatnot? And ultimately, how furry is it? First of all, this is PC only. Sorry, console buddies. You got plenty of furries in your games already, though. You have Pokemon and Spyro, and now you have Undertale, too, and Deltarune. All us PC players have in terms of known furry games is like Second Life and a bunch of visual novel and dating sim games. I mean, there's a bunch of indie stuff too, but point being, we got ourselves a competent, great, even furry game that anyone can enjoy whether they're a furry or not. Again, if you have a PC. Now, with that out of the way, just how does a Super Animal Royale? I first heard of this through an acquaintance of mine, Tally Noodle, doing a little review of it. I hate to steal his thunder, so you can go ahead and watch his video just right after you watch this one. Hearing his endorsement made me immediately boot up Steam and seek this game right out. Something you need to be aware of is the different versions of the game. So one of them is free to play and the other is paid. Basically, the free version is just that. It's completely free to play, but once you start playing the game, you'll notice all these unlockable cosmetics and personas, but here's the catch. You can unlock all those items, all the ones you've earned. They will be available for you to play once you upgrade to the paid version. Or you do what I did and pay a bit extra for the Founders Edition. I think this is similar to the package they gave out to the original Kickstarter patrons. Yes, this is a Kickstarted project, but that was almost a year ago. But in a nutshell, the free version is just more of a free trial, and the paid version is the actual game. Now you may be wondering if you need money to unlock extra items in the games, like skins or other cosmetics, and I'll just say this, it's a one-time payment of either $10 or $20. That's it. Everything else you have to grind and unlock through special events and challenges and all that. And honestly, I prefer this method. I haven't noticed any nonsense like XP bonuses, better weapon drops, any of that crap just for people who paid for either version. It's just that the free version, again, is more like a free trial. And that free trial actually lasts about as long as you can stand only playing as a fox, or a dog, or cat, or whatever. I mean, that's still the drawback, isn't it? I'll admit that playing as a default bare bones character and seeing everyone else's unique character is a tantalizing trick that games, including Super Animal Royale, they use this to really drive in that purchase. But I'll call it a step in the right direction anyway, since it's just one payment. It's like everyone complained about that Super Mario mobile game, a couple years ago. You could play the first level or so, and then after that it says, hey, give us $10 for the rest of the game. And people were really mad about that, but that's only one payment of $10, so it's not that bad. For Super Animal Royale, there are no season passes, there are no loot boxes, there is no gachapon rolls, or you just buy the damn game, and there you go. Okay, with that out of the way, how about that gameplay? So you start with a choice of either playing solo, duo, or with a 3 or 4 person squad, or you can just take on squad or duo mode as a one furry army, like you would with other battle royale games. From there you enter a matchmaking lobby, the little Super Animal World welcoming center, and you can just hang out there until 64 players pile right in. But what's different here is that if 64 players, actual players, don't jump in within a certain time limit, it'll fill up the rest of the map with bots. This is actually a really good idea since the community for this game is still kind of small, and bot matches pretty much keep any multiplayer game fun and alive for years on, even when it's considered quote-unquote dead and doesn't have any support from its original developers anymore. It's like when you boot up Quake 3 or Unreal Tournament 1 or 2, and then you see, oh, well, don't see anyone playing this online or through any local access networks right now. Oh well, might as well get some bots up. I realize now that some people in my audience don't know the glory that is Quake 3 or Unreal Tournament, and I'll just say one of them is free, the other one you can get on GOG.com. There's 2 other recommendations, but I will say they are not furry. That's the only problem here. So, anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, killer furries. So you have a top-down, like a helicopter view and third-person perspective, which means the camera is pulled away back enough so that you can see a good amount of the map around you, but there's still a fog of shadows with little beams of light showing what your character's actual range of sight is. You also need to pick up items to survive the match, otherwise you're just whacking people around with the melee item, which is like that Dark Souls Naked challenge, in that I don't recommend it unless you're that good. You can still use the melee item to beat up boxes and cut down grass, those give you supplies as well. Now most likely you will either want to land your parachute on or near some armor or a gun with ammo sitting close by, and pick up any supplies you might need before the super skunk spray gas begins to fill the map. Speaking of which, items glow different colors based on how good it is. You have your plain ones and your green glowing ones, which is one step higher, and then it goes blue, purple, and then gold, which are both very rare. You have 3 choices of grenades. You have frags, you have skunk spray bombs, and then a banana to slip on. It's all basic battle royale stuff, get the most kills, be the last one standing, all that good stuff, but the difference here, again, is the furries. Outside of kooky hats and shirts and ties and glasses and dance emotes, you have your choice of fursona to play as, but you're gonna have to grind and play for a while in the game before your actual fursona shows up. Now I had to wait until I got up to level 10 before I could become a deer, and all you guys with hyenas as your fursona or OC, you gotta wait until level 70. Then again, they just did add that in, but I don't really see their logic behind which breeds or species are available at what levels. I mean, yeah, I guess the more common ones are available at the beginning, and they get more specific or unique as you keep playing and get good at the game. Also, you actually need 2 kinds of items to unlock different species. You have super serums and animal DNA. You get to use these in the research labs tab right there in the menu. It'll show you the requirements needed to unlock each new species, and some are just new skins for a specific species, so you don't see the same red fox or purple skull cat over and over again. I mentioned challenges before. These are daily challenges that reward you for doing specific kills or collecting certain items, playing a certain amount of matches, and even have hidden challenges that don't show up on your daily challenges things. They're more like Easter eggs. And don't worry, there are guides to show you how to get there, in case you're lost or anything. I also want to mention that instead of a big bus or something that flies you onto the island, you have the giant eagle. But no, you can't press a button to thank the eagle. That's a shame, really. They should include that. Oh, what's that? I hear you say? You want to know about the in-game lore? Well, you'll have to stick around for the next section for that. No real spoilers, don't worry. There isn't much to spoil anyway, because it's all speculation. That brings us to the main bit of this video. How furry is Super Animal Royale? Let's delve into this brutal animal battle game proper. I'll be using 3 metrics for this section of the video: cast, furriness, and relevancy. Let's start with cast, or the proportion of main characters and otherwise that be furry. And I'm not sure what counts as a main character or even side character in terms of an online multiplayer game like this. I'll just use the player characters for this, as in you or whoever else is playing this game at this current moment. With that being the case, there's no way you can play as, interact with, or find any evidence of humans in this game as of right now. Or is there? There's some kind of thinly veiled lore or something going on in the background, and I think it has a similar story, or is just influenced by, surprisingly, Kemono Friends. You can see my old review of that down below, or just click right above there, that corner there. And if you know Kemono Friends, then you know what I'm talking about, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Basically, ain't no humans around here. Just a bunch of bloodthirsty animals shooting and maiming each other and blowing themselves up as they squeak and squeal in cries of pain, glory, and determination. This, my friends, is the true nature of blood sport. And I rate this as a high in cast. Next is furriness, or how visually furry these characters look. So we have a more simplistic 2D art style with this game, so you're not going to see any anatomy that'll blow you away or rivals that of an ancient Roman statue or the plethora of high-profile furry artists. But that's kind of the point. These are all small, cute creatures made from animal DNA and super serum, bred and trained to dance and squeak and kill without remorse. It's a genocidal rampage of fellow animal brethren, but they're also gosh darn huggable too. Just look at all those cute little beady black eyes. They represent a dark and cold personality devoid of invitation. But they also fit the kitty and cartoonish style the developers were probably going for. It's kind of like that Night of the Woods game, if it was drawn by a 10-year-old boy, and all the clever dialogue and slow-paced plot was swapped with a big-budget action thriller or superhero kind of a flick, as is the palette of many a 10-year-old boy. I know this, because I was one at one point. Shocking, I know. So we have bipedal creatures that are right in that sweet spot between animal and human, all covered in fur, feathers, beaks, horns, tails, all that fancy stuff. The only human thing about them is their bloodlust, fueled by the desire to become the top of the food chain, and the pain they feel once their bodies are eviscerated by bullets and shrapnel and sharp blades, and that takes us to a score of high for furriness. Finally, we have relevancy, or how relevant their animal or furry nature is to the main plot. So you thought this was just a game, huh? Well, wait until you see the devs' YouTube channel. They feature a series called Super Animal Royale Tonight, with hosts Dog Patrick and Hal Michaels. If you get that reference, you're a big sports nerd, where they highlight wins and fails submitted by fans and streamers of the game from across the globe. They also use these animated shorts to show new content that's been added to the game, like the Super Cows in Episode 5.
Super Milk is the only milk genetically modified to produce 18 different exciting flavors, including chocolate, strawberry, stinky tofu, and banana. Praise banana.
But then, right around Episode 3 is when something a little crazy happens. They run into this little in-game group called the Super Animal Super Resistance. They are resistance and freedom fighting squads. that have sprung up in the universe and given us a bigger clue into what's going on in the ruins of Super Animal World. From what I can tell, it used to be some kind of zoological attraction where humans would interact with actual furries called super animals, created in the Super Animal World, or SAW, research labs where they're grown like test tube babies. Not like that. They're actually grown in like giant, Mewtwo? Yeah, like that. But then in episode 1 of Super Animal Royale tonight, they talk about the incidents.
Beaver construction signs have been appearing all around the island months after Super Animal World Safari Park closed, due to what legal insists I refer to as the incident.
So now it's all kind of abandoned and falling apart along this island. It's all empty and ready for a battle royale, where instead of being cute and cuddly, they all just murder each other for human spectators. They even talk about human oppressors and all that in episode 4.
And you just won't believe the horrific violence being forced upon our super animal brethren just to entertain the human oppressors.
There's other little clues hidden in the game, like in the Super Animal World welcoming area, there's a little flyer that says, "Animals are people too." But inside the cave by these mountains here, it seems the Super Animal Super Resistance has written, probably in blood, "Are we not people too?" Kind of a twist on the flyer's little innocuous promotional tag, and turning it into a cry for humanity. There's little escape plans, wanted posters of the hosts, a rat that yells and complains that it's not actually a rat. You can see caged cells and giant tubes housing possible specimens in the research labs. Overall, this is a pretty engaging little mystery, but anyway, all this ties together to show just how much the creators wanted to give more depth than just saying, here's a bunch of super animals with guns, now fight or whatever. So I'm awarding this with a high in relevancy. Now let's break this down, shall we? A high in cast, furriness, and relevancy. That boils down to a final rating of high in how furry it is. So yeah, I'd say this is a pretty furry little game here. I don't have any awards for getting the highest marks on all 3 of my categories, so I'll just have to come up with that one later. Maybe it could be like an end of the year recap, a how furry was 2019 kind of a thing. That might be fun. Other than that, I highly recommend you play this little indie gem. If for no other reason than you can floss on your slain enemies as a raccoon or something when you win a match, and that's a good selling point in my mind. My screen name in this game is Big Dan, so if you see anyone named Big Dan in the game, then you can just wave to me while I mow you down with a minigun. This has been Gregor, Horrible Animal Fiend's reindeer, with How Furry Is It? I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but the like button and dislike button are right there. The subscribe button is over there too. You could just check what that does. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I suggest you watch a couple more of my videos before subscribing. It doesn't cost anything, it's just I want to make sure you're not wasting your time or anything. You can throw down a comment if something pleased you or offended you. Either one is fine. Down in the description are my social media handles, like for Twitter and Discord and Telegram. You can also look at my Patreon, which means I'll give a shout out to 2 of my patrons in particular, that being and ANEZWNBSP. I am thankful they're continuing to support my channel through monetary means. And before you go, just one thing to remember. All super animals are created equal, but some are more equal than others. Bye. Time to realize.
So it's come down to this. Just the 2 of us. You and me. You know what needs to happen now.
Please, no. My family, my 2 husbands, and my 3 transgender children, they all need me. I can't stand for this.
I'm sorry. but I have to do this.
Come on! We can work together. We can beat this system.
That's not how the system works.
Don't you see? We've become killers, not animals. Not anymore. Everyone around us is dead. All innocent lives taken just because of a sinister game.
I told you! This is just how the system works. There's no way around it.
Please, you have to stop this.
This is how the system works. Rest assured, your death will not be in vain. This is just the next step.